Investigation, it was discovered that some parts of the victim's body were found inside the tiger shark's stomach. Although shark attacks were uncommon in the Red Sea coastal resorts, 2 deadly incidents were near Hurghada in 2022. These incidents caused people to worry about the safety of the water and how it could affect the local tourism industry. Tiger sharks are known for their aggressive nature and are considered one of the most dangerous shark species. However, it's important to note that they don't typically target humans as their preferred prey. Instead, they may occasionally confuse humans with their natural prey, such as seals or other marine animals that they typically perceive as food. These sharks have a varied diet and are known to be opportunistic hunters, often consuming a wide array of prey, including fish, turtles, seabirds, and even dolphins. They have a reputation for having a voracious appetite and are known to eat almost anything they come across. Despite their occasional attacks on humans, it's important to understand that such incidents are relatively rare. Shark attacks, including those by tiger sharks, are generally uncommon, and most interactions between humans and sharks are peaceful. Despite that, when planning to swim in areas where shark attacks have occurred, it's essential to take precautions and follow safety guidelines to minimize the risk of encountering these powerful creatures. Following the incident, the beach area and the other nearby stretches of coastline, encompassing approximately 50 miles, were closed to the public for 3 days. Swimming, snorkeling, and kayaking were strictly forbidden until authorities deemed them safe to resume. It's also been reported that the tiger shark's remains that attacked Vladimir were mummified and displayed at the Institute of Marine Sciences Museum and the Red Sea Reserves. After the sad incident, Vladimir's body was taken back to Russia, and instead of burying him, his father Yuri chose to cremate him according to his wishes. This event is a powerful reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous sea creatures can be, and it shows us the harsh and unyielding.
They sailed to a point in the river before Jose casts his net after spraying bait into the water. Minutes later, he pulled at the net, which had become heavy. Matias quickly approached him, and they pulled the fishing net into the boat together. That was enough for the day. While sailing back to the shore, Jose promised Matias deep-sea fishing the next day. They will be visiting the big ocean and catching fresh sea fish. Matias was very happy and always looked up to Jose, who had a wealth of experience in fishing techniques, secret spots, and various species of sea creatures. So the next day they arrived at the picturesque Lima Beach, with its air filled with excitement and anticipation. The sun shone on the ocean's surface, embracing nature's serenity. Matias carried their fishing gear from the car and followed Jose to a fishing shop at the beach. They wanted to rent a fishing boat for deep-sea fishing. Matias grabbed their fishing gear from the car and followed Jose to a fishing shop located on the beach. They wanted to rent a fishing boat for deep-sea fishing. After renting the boat, they ventured into the water. They sailed for a while before stopping the boat's engine and setting their rod with baits laden, patiently waiting for fish. Jose had shared some of his knowledge and expertise with Matias. He taught him how to handle the rod, tie knots, and choose good baits. With fishing rods on hand, Matias and Jose settled on the boat overlooking the calm water. While waiting, Jose shared his knowledge and various fishing trip story with Matias, with his eyes sparkling with wonder and admiration. Hours drifted by effortlessly with the rhythmic sound of the water lapping at the boat. After a while, Jose's bait caught a fish which he quickly pulled up. Seconds to that, Matias also caught a huge bluefin tuna. His face lit up with sheer joy as the shimmering fish wriggled, trying to free itself from the hook. He held his prized gift in his hand, feeling the weight of his good catch. Jose couldn't be more proud. He congratulated and even got a picture of him holding it. Afterward, they returned to the water and cast their fishing rods again, hoping to catch another. Jose asked Matias about the school, and the teen narrated what happened in his school in Colombia. What happened next was unfortunate. A sudden, unexpected tug pulled Matias into the water. Despite resisting and pulling himself back up, the force overwhelmed him, and he was dragged into the water. Jose was baffled because they were even in the middle of another conversation when it happened. After recovering from the shock, he jumped into the water to keep his nephew from disappearing. Being an experienced fisherman, Jose deduced that a shark had attacked Matias. Although he had brought an arrow with him that he could have used to retaliate, Jose hesitated, not wanting to make a decision he might later regret. The arrow might pierce his nephew, worsening the matter, so he had to jump into the water with them. Matias flings his arms frantically, trying to hold on to something to stop him, but the shark keeps dragging him away. He then tries using his elbow to nudge the shark off him, making him hit the beast's nose. He could maneuver flexibly like this because the shark held onto his leg. Immediately, the shark stopped to gnash into Matias's leg, and Jose caught up with him. Grabbing hold of Matias's clothing, he swam towards the shark's most vulnerable area, its gills, and struck it with force. The shark wiggled violently, but Jose didn't stop hitting the spot. The shark released its grip on Matias, allowing him to navigate from its jaw. The shark seemed in pain from the strikes as it swam away quickly. Jose held Matias by his arm and swam toward the boat. He applied an antiseptic on the bite before sailing back.
Earlier that day, 2 sharks had been spotted near a nearby resort, prompting an alert to ensure the safety of swimmers. One of the sharks had been successfully guided away, but the other remained hidden beneath the surface. As Nicole gracefully glided through the water, her eyes caught sight of 2 figures on jet skis in the distance. Assuming them to be fellow beach enthusiasts, she continued her leisurely swim. Yet, a sudden change in the air triggered an instinctual unease within her. With a jolt, the figures on the jet skis began yelling, their voices echoing through the vast expanse of the sea. Nicole's heart raced, and she felt a chill crawl down her spine. Something was undeniably wrong. Suddenly, Nicole felt a powerful force hit her leg. It was a terrifying sensation, as if something cold and slimy had forcefully collided with her. It didn't take her long to comprehend the horrifying reality. She was being attacked by a shark. The realization flooded her with panic, sending waves of fear rushing through her entire body. However, something peculiar happened. Thanks to the adrenaline and endorphins coursing through her system, her body seemed to be shielded from experiencing the excruciating pain that should have accompanied such a traumatic event. The shark attacked Nicole's left thigh and arm with a strong and forceful bite, causing serious injuries on both limbs. However, Nicole wasn't ready to give up easily. She had a strong and unwavering determination to survive. She found the inner strength to fight back even in the face of danger. Nicole forcefully struck the shark's sensitive nose repeatedly, with every ounce of energy she had left. It was a desperate attempt to fend off the predator and protect herself from further harm. She knew her survival depended on her ability to fight back with all her might. The shark finally recoiled in pain, letting go of Nicole's mangled leg. In that short moment of respite from the clutches of the beast, Nicole took the opportunity to escape. Though weakened and battered, Nicole summoned every ounce of her willpower, struggling against the relentless currents to swim back to shore. Each stroke was a symphony of pain, but she was propelled by a fierce determination to escape the clutches of the unforgiving sea. Despite her injuries and immense pain threatening to consume her, Nicole refused to succumb to despair. With an indomitable spirit, she kicked and thrashed, struggling against the relentless pull of the ocean, fighting for her life. Each stroke towards the shore felt like an arduous battle, but she persisted, driven by an unyielding will to survive. As Nicole's strength began to falter, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. Another person riding a jet ski emerged from the chaos and came to...
Like a quiet hunter. The 3 friends noticed it and looked at each other with curiosity. They had heard stories about sharks in these waters, but they never thought they would actually come face to face with one. The fin swam past Malik and Gamba, not paying any attention to them, and then it targeted Zuri. The massive 13-foot tiger shark moved incredibly fast, its cold, lifeless eyes fixed on him. Zuri's heart pounded in his chest as fear paralyzed him for a split second, before he turned and tried to make a desperate escape towards the shore. As the predator closed in, its movements were too swift for Zuri to react in time. With a vicious and relentless lunge, the monstrous tiger shark sank its razor-sharp teeth deep into Zuri's right calf, tearing through flesh and bone. The excruciating pain shot through his body, causing him to let out an agonizing scream that echoed across the water. Blood stained the once serene ocean as Zuri's cries for help were drowned by the terror that gripped his friends. Fear and panic overpowered them, and they ran frantically toward the safety of the beach, leaving Zuri to face the gruesome reality alone. As Zuri struggled against the currents in the water, the fierce shark attacked again, going after his right arm with its deadly maw. The impact was terrifying, and the powerful bite from the shark cut off Zuri's arm below the elbow, causing a terrible and horrifying wound. The pain that hit Zuri was unbearable, overwhelming his senses and making it hard for him to see clearly. Despite the agony, Zuri tried his best to stay above the water, using all his strength and determination. He kicked and paddled desperately with his remaining arm, but it was tough. Breathing became a struggle as he fought to stay afloat in the relentless waves. But the shark was not done yet. Driven by its insatiable hunger, it lunged at Zuri again, its lifeless eyes fixed on him with a chilling focus. In a wild and violent attack, the shark lunged at Zuri repeatedly, tearing into his abdomen and chest. The once serene and inviting waters were now transformed into a horrifying scene of carnage, as the powerful predator shook Zuri's body with terrifying force, as if he were a mere rag doll in its jaws. As the relentless assault continued, each passing moment became a desperate struggle for survival, with Zuri's life hanging by a thread. The overwhelming pain and shock began to take their toll on his body, pushing him to the brink of surrender. Meanwhile, Malik and Gamba, still close enough to witness the harrowing scene, were gripped with a paralyzing mixture of fear and disbelief. Their hearts pounded as they watched their friends' horrifying battle for survival. They were frozen in place, unable to comprehend the nightmarish reality unfolding before their eyes. The massive shark engulfed Zuri in a horrifying flash, its deadly jaws clamping on his mangled corpse. The once lively and energetic boy was now helpless, caught in the powerful grip of the unyielding predator. As the waves crashed around them, Zuri's lifeless and broken body was pulled further down into the deep and dark parts of the ocean. He vanished from the sight of those above the water as the sea hid the gruesome and terrifying scene. A short while later, the waves washed Zuri's remains ashore. They were barely recognizable as that of a human. They were a mangled mess of flesh and bone covered in bite marks and blood. They were a gruesome sight.
She was as she playfully circled the boat, her sleek body gliding gracefully through the water. With a burst of energy, she shot out of the water, her mouth wide open, and playfully grabbed Lily's arm with her snout. The unexpected touch startled Lily, causing her to gasp in surprise, but her laughter quickly followed, filling the air with joyous echoes. However, as Lily's laughter subsided, she felt a sudden shift in Luna's playful demeanor. The shark's grip on her arm tightened, and a strange sense of urgency flickered in her eyes. Lily's heart skipped a beat as she realized something was terribly wrong. Luna wasn't playing anymore. She was trying to pull her into the water. Panic surged through Lily's veins, but she fought to stay calm. With lightning-fast reflexes, she released the fish she held and reached for the nearest object that could help her fend off imminent danger. Her trembling hands closed around a sturdy stick lying on the deck, and without hesitation, she swung it forcefully toward the water, creating a splash to startle Luna. As the stick made contact with the water, it created a loud smack, sending droplets flying in every direction. Luna, momentarily startled by the noise, released her grip on Lily's arm and retreated a few feet, her head held low in what appeared to be confusion. The bite inflicted upon her hand by the ferocious creature had left her in a state of shock. As the initial shock began to wane, the excruciating pain seared through her nerves, causing her to cry in agony. The severity of the bite was immediately apparent. Lily's hand was a mangled mess, torn flesh revealing glimpses of the raw crimson depths beneath. The beast's sharp teeth had sunk deep into her flesh, leaving behind a vicious wound that oozes blood with every beat of her trembling heart. The urgency of seeking immediate medical attention was impressed upon Lily, her hand trembling and throbbing in her lap.
Felt the wave lift him up, and he stood on his board, balancing himself with his arms. He rode the wave gracefully and skillfully, carving through the water. He felt like he was flying. But then, something went wrong. As he rode the wave, he suddenly bumped into something big and hard in the water. It felt like hitting a rock or a log. The collision toppled him off his board, making him take a hard splash into the water. Darius was disoriented and dazed by what had happened. He didn't know what he hit, but he knew it hurt. He felt a sharp pain in his chest and ribs. He wondered if he had broken something. He immediately swam towards the surface, gasping for air. As he broke the surface, he looked around for his board. He saw it floating nearby, still attached to his ankle by a leash. He reached for it with his hand, hoping to get back on it as soon as possible. But before he could grab it, something else grabbed him. From the ocean's depths, a 14-foot great white shark leaped out of the water and lunged at Darius. The same creature bumped into Darius and toppled him from his board. It opened its massive mouth full of razor-sharp teeth and clamped down on Darius's right arm. Darius was completely caught off guard by the attack. He had no time to react or defend himself. He only had time to scream. He screamed in agony as the shark's teeth sank into his flesh and bone. He screamed in terror as he saw the shark's powerful jaw latch deep into his vulnerable arm. He screamed in desperation as he realized he was about to die. Driven by the primal instinct to feed on its prey, the shark thrashed around in the water, shaking its head from side to side, trying to rip off Darius's arm from his body. Darius felt like his arm was being torn apart by a chainsaw. The pain was unbearable, but he fought to stay alive. He knew that if he let go of his board, he would be dragged underwater by the shark and drown, or worse, be eaten alive by the frenzied predator. He used his left hand to hold his board as tightly as possible. He used his legs to kick at the shark's face and body as hard as possible. He hoped to land a blow that would make the shark let go of him or at least loosen its grip. But nothing seemed to work. The shark was too strong and too determined to get its food. It kept biting and pulling on Darius's arm, ignoring his kicks and punches. Then, with a sickening snap, the shark succeeded in its goal. It tore off Darius's arm from his elbow, leaving behind a bloody stump. As it claimed its gruesome prize, the shark immediately retreated to the ocean's depths with Darius's arm in tow. Darius felt a surge of shock and horror as he saw the shark rip his arm off. He felt a gush of blood spurt out of his wound. He felt faint and dizzy from the harrowing scene unfolding before his eyes. But he also felt a surge of adrenaline and survival instinct. He knew he had to get out of the water as fast as he could before the shark returned for more, or before he bled to death. With his remaining strength, he painfully got on his board and started paddling towards the shore with his left arm and legs. He left behind a trail of blood in the water, a gruesome reminder of the violent attack that he endured. As he was nearing the beach, Darius screamed for help, attracting the attention of other surfers and beachgoers. They realized what had happened, and they rushed to his aid. The group immediately escorted the bleed surfer towards the shore. They tried to stop the bleeding from his stump by applying pressure with their hands, clothes, or even towels. The other people on the beach heard their shouts and saw their signals. They called for an ambulance and alerted the lifeguards. They ran to the water's edge, ready to assist Darius when he reached the shore. Darius finally made it to the shore after what seemed like an eternity. He was pale and weak from the blood loss and shock. He was barely conscious, but he was still alive. The lifeguards and paramedics quickly took over from the surfers. They wrapped his wound with bandages and gave him oxygen and fluids. They loaded him onto a stretcher and into an ambulance. They drove him to the hospital where he would undergo emergency surgery and treatment. Darius lost his arm, but he survived the shark attack. He survived a face-to-face encounter with one of nature's most fearsome predators. He survived a nightmare that most people would never experience or imagine. He survived, but he would in life. It was a haven for swimmers and divers alike. As Sarah and her friends arrived at the beach, they couldn't contain their excitement. The waves crashed against the shore, inviting them to explore further into the ocean. Despite the warnings of lurking sharks, their adventurous spirits led them to venture into deeper waters. The thrill of the drop-off below only fueled their excitement, and they felt invincible in the face of nature's wonders. As Sarah swam towards a playful pod of dolphins, the charm of the marine world captivated her. But unbeknownst to her, they were swimming in a known hotspot for hungry bull sharks. Recent storms had brought freshwater runoff, enticing these powerful predators with the promise of an easy meal. Though clear in parts, the water became a bit murky due to the recent weather. But that didn't deter Sarah and her friends. In their youthful exuberance, they believed they were safe, surrounded by the beauty of nature. However, danger lurked beneath the surface. The scent of fishermen's bait and the promise of prey drew the bull sharks closer. They moved stealthily through the water, watching and waiting for the right moment to strike. As Sarah swam closer to the dolphins, her heart danced with joy. Little did she know that her idyllic encounter with the marine creatures would turn into a fight for her life. The playful dolphins were unaware of the predators nearby, and Sarah was about to be caught in the crossfire of the ocean's drama. In a matter of moments, the tranquility of the beach was shattered, and the peaceful waters turned into a battleground. The beautiful coastal city witnessed a life-and-death struggle, a reminder of the untamed power of nature. In a heartbeat, Sarah was pulled underwater. The sharks, hungry and alert, launched a ferocious attack. She fought back, punching and kicking with all her strength. But the sharks showed no mercy. The water turned crimson as the terrifying battle raged on. The powerful and swift sharks closed in on Sarah with razor-sharp teeth glinting in the light. Their eyes locked onto their prey, their instincts driving them forward with relentless force. Sarah's survival instincts kicked in, and she gave it her all to escape. Her punches and kicks were desperate attempts to push back the relentless predators, but they kept coming, undeterred. The water churned with splashing and turmoil as the life-and-death struggle played out. Sarah's heart pounded as she fought to keep her head above water and break free from the shark's grasp. Blood mingled with the seawater, a stark reminder of the danger Sarah faced. Despite her courage, the sharks pressed on, driven by their insatiable hunger. In those terrifying moments, it was a battle for survival. Sarah's strength waned as she grappled with the sharks, their powerful bodies propelling them forward with chilling determination. The fight was intense, and Sarah knew she had to find a way to escape the jaws of death. In the distance, Josiah, a brave and quick-thinking man, noticed Sarah's distress. Without a second thought, he raced into the water, fueled by adrenaline and determination. He knew he had to act fast to save her. As Josiah swam toward Sarah, he saw the sharks circling her, their sharp teeth glistening in the water. Sensing the danger, the dolphins formed a protective ring around them, like a shield against the menacing predators.
However, little did Vladimir know that this day would turn into a nightmare. As Vladimir swam in the sea, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Shouts of concern filled the air, drawing his attention. He scanned the area, searching for the source of the commotion. It was then that he spotted it. A large, dark gray shark with a menacing dorsal fin, cutting through the water like a knife through butter. Fear gripped Vladimir's heart as the shark began circling him, each pass bringing it closer and closer. Panic surged through his veins as he realized he had no time left. While others scrambled to safety, the shark had targeted him. In a split second, it lunged, its powerful jaws clamping around his body, violently thrashing him beneath the surface. Desperate and injured, Vladimir fought for his life. He kicked and struggled, his legs flailing above the water as he desperately tried to free himself. Miraculously, the shark released its grip, and Vladimir resurfaced, gasping for air amidst the chaos. The sea around him turned crimson with his blood, a grim testament to his injuries. Summoning every ounce of strength, Vladimir continued to ravage Vladimir's body underwater for what felt like an eternity. The relentless assault lasted for hours, adding to the terror etched into the memories of those who had witnessed the event. In response to the tragedy, authorities initiated a search for the tiger shark responsible for the attack. With the help of the speedboats, they swiftly located the shark still lurking in the area.
For their adventure, they waded into the water, laughing and chatting as they searched for the most exquisite shells. As Mark dived deeper into the water, the excitement of their shell-collecting adventure turned into fear as a massive shadow loomed beneath him. Within seconds, a large shark emerged from the depths and lunged at Mark with lightning speed. The friends' hearts pounded in their chests as they screamed for Mark to get away, but it was too late. As Mark desperately tried to swim away, the shark's razor-sharp teeth sank deeper into his leg, causing a searing pain that shot through his entire body. His heart pounded in his chest as he realized the gravity of the situation. He was trapped, and the predator showed no signs of relenting. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Mark summoned all his survival instincts. He used his free leg to kick at the shark, hoping to disorient it and create an opening for escape. He punched at its nose and eyes, fighting with every ounce of power. The water turned crimson as the struggle intensified and Mark's strength waned. Sarah and Mike, now back on the shore, felt hopeless as they watched their friend's life hanging in the balance. Frantically, they looked around for any object that could be a makeshift weapon to drive the shark away. Without a second thought, Mike plunged back into the water, risking his life to aid his friend. Mark's mind raced for a solution with the shark still in hot pursuit. He knew he couldn't fight the powerful predator alone. As he struggled to stay afloat, he saw Mike re-entering the water, armed with a long, sturdy branch. Mike's heart pounded as he aimed for the shark's eyes with the branch. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he struck the predator with all his might. The shark thrashed violently, letting out a loud screech and momentarily giving Mark the advantage he needed. Gasping for breath and in agonizing pain, Mark swam as fast as his injured leg could carry him, not daring to look back. Mike, fearless and determined, stayed close behind, warding off the relentless pursuit of the enraged shark. With Mike's support and encouragement, Mark mustered every ounce